It's hilarious to me. Every time that plays and JD sees it, he's like, I love that. You know, he designed the whole Phoenix and everything for us, so the fact it's animated. What are you doing, JD?
His hand, he just needs to have some of those googly eyes or something.
Joan, we need more googly eyes.
Yeah.
All right.
My glasses now.
Everybody who is joining us from home, feel free to questions, comments. We're going to answer you live. Lots of shenanigans, joking going on. So, hey, Heather.
Holy crap, those are huge knitting needles.
Are these amazing?
Oh, yeah, I just saw that. It was like,
those are going to be some huge dragon scale gloves, man.
I saw yarn and I started twitching.
Yarn junkie there, yarn junkie.
Oh, Lisa's joining us. So, hey, Kathy. Long time no see.
In the middle of me.
Hey, we've got Hank. So Hank's not joining us on, but he can always answer questions for us and or ask questions, help move conversation along. But feel free to ask us. So Maria, you are a pranic healer, Reiki healer, shamanic healer, medium. What don't you do? It's kind of like you're showing off with all those initials behind your name there, ma'am.
She's her own alphabet.
You're going to need double-sided cards. Just keep all of your certifications on there. Lucinda is, I'm reading some of the other ones. There's Lucinda. Hey, Laura. Laura's one of our other readers, and I can't talk her into joining us on here yet because she hates the camera, and I tell her it's painless.
It hurts.
Lucinda is one of our Reiki masters, intuitive medium, angel card reader. And below her, we have Joan, tarot reader, dragon scale glove maker, Lenormand card, Reiki master. Like you're kind of getting up there with, you know, all these things that you do.
I'm a Joan of all trades.
There we go. We have Alexa, tarot reader, bag of dick thrower, relationship reader.
Big knitting needle person.
Yes.
Not the size that counts.
Size matters.
Oh.
Yes. Uh-oh. I hear feedback. Okay, what am I? Hey, Holly. See, Joan, Heather says she needs dragon scale gloves, which you just fresh off the pack, or the needles today, you made a set of what, black to gray.
Black and gray, they kind of, they were variegated, but they kind of go in and out. So those were, hot off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
So those are in the store, and they actually have a little bit of wool in them. So
they're going to be extra warm. And then JD, you are a spirit artist. Oh, we'll bring Alexa back. So I'm going to randomly be kind of muting some people here and there, trying to keep the feedback at a minimum if we can. So JD, you're a spirit artist, troublemaker, actually Halloween storyteller in our live tonight.
Can you drop him so Alexa's next to me instead?
Will it let me?
There you go.
I can move people. I have the power. All right.
That's okay. I like Lisa's comment. So, Alex, are you knitting or killing vampires? Oh, and she's gone.
Oh, let's see. Well, Lisa made a good point. Like, I put up my pictures and a little video of the crow friends I'm trying to make at the store, and she says that they are to be referred to as Halloween eagles. So that is the new term that we will be using for crows, Halloween eagles. So I am trying to make Halloween eagles. Oh yeah, Heather. So JD was at the store today, so hopefully we'll be able to schedule him in for like a private day at the store to where it's not just the fair and you can get bigger art pieces if you want. Hopefully Alexa can come back. looks like the internet gremlins are messing with her.
She might be knitting with her internet cables. I'm kidding.
So if anybody has any questions, you want to know what our real thoughts are on certain topics, feel free to ask. Not really the forum to get free readings, but this is kind of like give you guys a behind the scenes of what we talk about when nobody's in the store and the door's locked, like all of the shenanigans that we talk about and the goofing off that we do.
It's a light version.
Huh?
It's a light version.
PG.
Yeah, 'cause when you weren't around, the shenanigans did start earlier, so we're primed.
We're ready to go. And we banished, Hank and Greg to the other side of the wall, which I was kind of thinking that's probably not good to leave them unsupervised. So I can only imagine because, hopefully Alexa can come back. But I guess the joking was that Hank told Greg that he could come over and get a penis reading. So that went over. And for those that are joining, it's not as dirty as it sounds. Alexa has a bunch.
Where is it?
What is it? Oh, now you're curious. Oh, here comes Alexa. She's coming back. Yay. Yay, Alexa. So Alexa has these little crystal gemstone penises, different sizes, colors, shapes. And for relationship reading, you literally reach your hand into a bag of dicks and you throw them down on the mat. So kind of like runes, maybe Ogum 6, but relationship fertility. And
I'm watching the comments.
Thank you, Lisa. So that was the joke between Greg and Hank about Greg coming over and get a penis reading. Because there's actually ways like old-fashioned where you can get a reading by the bumps on your head. They used to do that way back when.
Isn't getting a penis reading redundant?
Huh?
Okay.
Someone tell him I said that.
Kathy wants to know, Maria, if the invisible guy ever left the store, the hanger-on that came in with somebody.
He's still there.
Well, at least he's not earthbound, so there is that.
No, yeah, he's still there though.
So then why is Bob not doing his damn job and booting out the
Bob is not there. He hasn't been hanging around the store lately.
Him and his girlfriend were having fights. They were. They are not a happy, blissful couple in that cabinet.
Well, the full moon in Gemini tomorrow morning, so you know what? She's on the outs. Bob will be back. Saying.
Well, partial. Bob was there first.
Partial eclipse. It's going to matter.
Alexa, Lisa says that when you popped out, you were off killing vampires with your sticks. Oh, did we lose her? She's frozen again.
I think we lost her again.
Aww. But that's a kind of cool picture. She's like smiling. She's like, yes, I was.
Unfreeze.
I was slaying things.
Unfreeze. That's too much tequila. Spirit drama is exactly right. Spirit drama.
All of the alcohol in the store, and it's all for the entities. It's really, it's not a waste, but it's kind of funny to me. So yeah, I've got a hanger-on hanging in the store. At least he better earn his keep and be useful and get some information. Did enjoy the Witch's Brew during the live. We'll probably use because we didn't drink very much. We were just both so tired, and we were joking that when Sandy and I decided to do that a week in advance, by the time it rolled around, we're like, why did we think this would be a great idea? We're tired. We want to go home. It's Black Friday. And now we're still doing this. But, that being said, somebody else managed to.
Hold that thought.
I'm driving out. So the other side of my laptop is fine. And I did find a new one, Joan. I don't know if you've seen this one called 7 Moons. So there's supposed to be, you would think this was like 7 different wines in here. So this is a Show Your Bottle podcast. So thank you, Lori. So if you have any questions you want to ask us, feel free to type in and we'll answer. Alexa's coming back. And we have Hank in the chat, so Hank can answer questions as well.
Hi, Hank.
I think the power of your needles is too strong for your internet.
It probably is.
And by the way, if anyone's interested, Hank is on every morning on YouTube for a quick coffee chat. Positive inspiration, usually anywhere from 5 to more like 30 minutes, but it's fun and it's good to get refreshed and hear some of the things that he has going on too. So it's good to see him today in the store.
He says hi. Laura, 7 moons, I think it was 12 or 15. I found it at the farmer's market in Vermilion. So it's the first and only time I've seen it, but I'm sure it's other places, but I grabbed it, and at first I'm like, it's a pretty bottle. I'm going to buy it. And then I actually read the label that there's 7 different wines, types of wine.
People read labels?
Kind of like, don't judge a book by a cover. Don't judge the wine by the label. I'm
She's looking for the percentage.
Yes, I am. Because Witch's Brew has, what, like 12.5%?
Yep.
I don't really see it on here, to be honest with you.
And Witch's Brew is a 4 out of 5 on the sweet scale.
They really need to pay us for as much as I pimp out this Witch's Brew. Oh, I'm sorry. It's teeny tiny up in the corner, 13.5%.
Nice.
By the way, the wine cellars that makes Witch's Brew is up in Michigan, so road trip.
Yes.
Okay. I can seat how many, like 7 in my van or in my my Durango.
Empty it so that we can fill it back up.
So that happened to my older brother. He and his now fiance went to like the Bourbon Trail. They stayed a couple days down there, whatever. And they have a really beautiful big dog. They left it at my parents' house, and they get down there, and my brother loves like good whiskey and bourbon, so he's getting excited. He's like, I can't get this bottle in Cleveland. I'm gonna buy some of this. I'm gonna get some. His fiance had to stop him and be like, hey, if you buy anything else, we can't fit the dog back in the car. Which my brother went, yeah, but could we make a second trip back down to my parents' house to get the dog? And she's like, no, we can't.
Aw. So Laura and Lori are ready to go on the road trip. Lisa, the Witch's Brew, Trader Joe's has it, Fresh Time has it, and if you're out towards Oberlin. Yeah, Lori was nice enough to bring me one for the store because I kept saying this last live, like, I am not going to Cracker Park. There's too many people. I'm not waiting in line to get in. Not going. And so she gifted it.
You go to Trader Joe's at 8 or 8:30 at night, especially since it's going to snow this week. So nobody goes there. I like walking around with the lights. Nobody's there.
How far up in Michigan? Does it say, Joan? Like where?
Omina, Michigan.
Yeah, it's a sweet dry wine, and it is a very much like a spiced wine. So it's sweet, but it's got like clove and other things in it. Where else can you get it? Fresh Time, and if you're out towards Oberlin, the IGA has it, which is where Holly found these for me. She's like, do you want me to grab you 1 or 2? And I'm like, 4. Grab me 4. So yeah, anybody have any other questions? Otherwise, we can ramble all night long. This is the type of thing we do when nobody's in the store and we're not having to behave. Oh, we lost Lucinda. 9 hours to the top of the mitten. It's been forever. I don't think I've been to Ann Arbor, and that's about it. All right. So what's a topic we want to talk about? Who else did we lose? We lost somebody else, didn't we? Something.
Has anyone noticed how the spirits are a little bit more active? I don't know. We always thought they were active around Halloween. I think they're more active now.
Well, I know Marianne says full moons and new moons, they get a lot more energy, and eclipses. So I think we have one. So that's going to give them a little added, the German Glühweinwein. Yeah. Glühweinwein would be similar. Slightly different taste, but they are very similar. So somehow, yeah, we've got an extra one in the store now, apparently. But at least this one's on the other side, so not a
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's a
remember.
good question.
Hmm?
Oh, go ahead, Alex.
Well, I was just gonna make a comment about the like the whole spirit thing and active. That was one of the funnier things that my husband and I went through when we were house shopping. We would always be looking at like these podunk pictures that people had posted, and anytime we would see like a weird spot or a blur, like, oh look, it comes pre-haunted. Do you think the ghost is included? But I always make that joke to my husband that he's such an anxious person about the idea of spirituality and like spirits in the house. I was like, I guarantee you a spirit would walk into my lovely space up here, feel your vibration and go, nope, I'm leaving. You're good. We're not going to be haunted. It's fine.
No, and usually if they can't get your attention very well, they'll just go bug the neighbors. A lot less energy for somebody who's looking for it. And like Hank brings up a good point. Like we anticipate Halloween. Like we want to be scared, so we pay attention better to it this time of year. And it's always funny to me that these paranormal groups only go out like at 3 a.m. in the dark. Like they're active all the damn time. I had the pain in the butt one here in the house. Like all of the trouble he caused was in the middle of the freaking afternoon while I was at work. So has nothing to do with that. But it's a full moon with a partial eclipse. Thank you, Laura. I don't pay attention to that astrology thing. And there was a little bit of that demonstration to Jay. And I'm going to hear JD laughing from the other room. There was a gentleman in the store. Who the hell's awake at 3 a.m.? Not me, unless my back up. This guy kept trying to guess what my sign was, and he goes, "What fire sign are you?" And I just looked at him, and I wanted to be like, "Is it because I have red in my hair that you think I'm a fire sign?" And when I said Aries, he goes, "Oh, I figured you were either Aries or Sag." And I'm like,
Yeah, if he knew, he would have said it. So
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Oh, you have so much fire. I can feel the fire." And I'm like, "Really? Because according to my chart, I have way more earth than fire." Get on out of here.
Melissa's not a fan of astrology, in case you didn't figure that out.
I just like everything underneath the metaphysical umbrella. That's the one thing that I'm like, I think the living factors, your parents, how they raise you, people around you, what you go through has way more of a bearing of your life and your personality and what to expect than what the big rocks up in the universe have to say.
It's a combination.
No, I see Melissa's point, because I've always had to look at the idea of astrology, if anything, like it honestly does give you a good method to start being really insightful with yourself and start kind of asking yourself those questions of, oh, am I really like that? Oh no, I try really hard not to be this stereotypic negative trait of my sign. Like, I think it gives a good opportunity for people to become more self-aware. Because if they're reading something that's supposed to be about them and they know, that's not me, okay, good. You know yourself. You're aware. You're processing your own mind and thoughts and energy and finding your place in the world versus somebody that just blindly accepts every single thing they read.
Well, and so, like personality write-ups, I'm like, they are so vague and they will fit anybody, regardless of your sign.
Well, of course, that's great if it's astrology was based on just 12 different things. But come on, seriously, it wasn't made yesterday. It was made thousands of years ago. You've got to look at all the different degrees within each sign, within each house, within each planet. And considering that thousands of years ago, when math first started, astrology was there. It's got to have some, they didn't just make up this board game the other day. So it's got to have some weight to it.
I don't know. When I was in college, my older brother was doing some like physics homework or engineering homework. And he legitimately told me that they were doing math that they did not really have a practical application for yet out in the world because they'd kind of run out of math. It's like, what does that mean? Why are you making up more math? Stop.
Make the equation longer and keep going.
I think astrology is a lot more nuanced than most people give it credit for. I don't think it's a be all end all. I think it's a part of factors. I just see too many synchronicities with it for myself that I can't ignore it, and I'm half skeptic about everything.
I think maybe you're looking for the synchronicities. Because I know some people won't date other people based on their sign.
Well, wait a minute. But yeah,
Your bottom corner, sir.
but the same thing can be said for tarot cards too. The same thing can be said for oracle cards. The same thing can be said for rune stones. The same thing can be said for all of those things. So, guess what? Start believing in those rocks, Melissa.
Nah. I'm going to separate you two. So Gina asked if someone can explain what an ascending and what the moon signs are. So maybe she's not all that familiar with some of, I'm assuming, like kind of the basics of astrology. Joan, that might be more of your wheelhouse, because I think out of all of us here, you might be the most astrology interested person.
Laura has a great explanation in the chat for those. I know we've got a couple different areas. So what we're seeing is the ascending is what you show to others, or your impression upon others, and the moon is how your emotions are affected. So your sun sign is, really what you're aiming to be, is what I remember it to be. So for example, Melissa, you being an Aries.
Yes, you muted me.
You're being that true Aries.
Yeah, I'm taking turns muting to keep the feedback down.
So you've got the, so for you, you're trying to be that true Aries, but you're showing, your ascending sign is what you're showing others to be. So it's a combination of all three. And then of course, yes, the moon is your emotion. So you can hear people say, oh, I'm a double, or I'm a triple sign, or a quadruple sign. And it's usually like the first 5 signs. You've got your sun sign, your rising sign, or which is the ascending. You've got your moon sign, and of course, what's in Mercury, what's in Venus, what's in Mars. So something like that. Oh, and then Mr. Astrology himself, Hank, is getting in there. The sun sign is what you come in with. The ascendant is what you are developing in this lifetime.
So Hank on YouTube, for those that can't see it, because if you're on Facebook, says in esoteric astrology, the sun sign is what you come in with, and the ascendant is what you're developing in this lifetime. If that were the case, then my Virgo rising and the neat and the orderly and want everything perfect, I'm fucking nailing it.
Yes, you are. And an Aries, and the impatient Aries, nailed it. Yes, totally on fire.
So Lisa is Scorpio sun, Aries moon, Cancer ascending.
I always make that joke to people because my sun is in Scorpio, my rising is Pisces, and my moon is in Cancer. So my big 3 are all water signs. So I usually get to use the cliche excuse anytime something gets like a little too emotionally driven. Like, well, I'm just a hot emotional mess anyway. All 3 of my signs are water signs. What are you gonna do? I love that you can kind of use it as a throwaway if you need to. Like, blame my sign.
And a lot of people do that. Some people use it as a blatant excuse.
Really?
Oh, sorry, I'm just a bitch. It's my Scorpio rising. No, you're just a bitch. Yeah, stop it.
It wouldn't make you that way.
And that whole, like, if astrology really was the thing, then everybody born on Hitler's birthday within an hour, like, we would have multiple Hitlers. We would have multiple Jeffrey.
No,
we would have multiple.
It's not that cause and effect ish. It's influences.
Yeah, you have to be bad at art first to be Hitler.
Oh, God.
Or you be like Edward Kemper and decide to read audiobooks for the deaf, or for the blind, I should say, not the deaf, because it wouldn't matter.
Wait a minute.
Right? Aha, I caught it. So listen, what do you think of astrology? Does it really have a bearing? You've been quiet. Down there smirking.
Well, because I like to watch all the shenanigans, but I can see, and I've been told by lots of people that they go and they accurately guess what my sign is. And I just like look at them, okay, yeah, I'm a Libra, so. And they go, well, that explains this, this, and this. I go, oh, okay. So I think there is some validity to it. But again, sort of like what JD says, there's all these other things, and I'm not 100% textbook of anything that I read that they say Libra and everything, but I can relate with a good portion of it. I would have to agree that if I was going to be categorized under a sign, yes, I'm a Libra. I'll own up to it, I guess. And then with being, I'm married to an Aries, Lord help me, and and all that. But then when we look at the signs, fire and air, they go and say, feed the fire, and shame on me, I guess. So parts of it I totally agree with, but I've still got some skepticism with some other parts of it.
I think healthy skepticism is good for anything in general.
All right, Maria, what's your thought on astrology?
I don't really wage too much on it because I because I mean I really think there is a base on the I know the lessons that you came in here that you wanted to learn. It's the influence of your surroundings, the places that you choose. You choose to be here. You choose to learn these lessons. So I don't really wager on astrology, and people are like, well, you're this, you're this, you're this. I go, okay. I don't even argue with them. If that's what you think I am, then fine, go ahead.
Well, I'm kind of mad at all of my soul friends here who let me sign the contract to come down here and do this, because this was not fun, you guys. I'm kind of mad at you.
We could talk you out of it.
Listen, you're an Aries. You're going to do what you want to do.
Oh, yeah, she's Aries.
Like, it'll be funny. Let her do it.
Since when do we have that much power?
Holly says, you ever read for people who you would rather not because of iffy energy?
Yeah.
Yours? Or
the client.
I want to admit.
Maybe the client's energy, if it's a little iffy to you.
Okay, so you know how we're all standing in the back of the store and we're just having general conversation, probably like this now. Somebody enters the store and we all look at each other going, no, you take her. You take her. Nope, I'm not doing it. I gotta go.
Rock, paper, scissors, you're it.
Sometimes, yes. Yeah.
when you see everyone scatter,
I'm like, where did all my readers go?
like feral cats.
I turn around and all the places were empty. And I'm like, really? They're all on pee break right now and there's one bathroom? Where'd they go?
We're drawing straws and avoiding the customer.
Bushes in the back. The bushes in the back, Where?
Well, I mean, I think that goes as part of being the professional reader, being willing to step into something that's somewhat uncomfortable, and maybe that energy feels iffy because they're in a state of distress. They need guidance. They need some sort of healing work or message. So you, as the person who is providing that, like, you have to be willing to kind of go into that space of uncomfortability and help them. Now, if there's somebody who just refuses to hear the message, that they're coming in and they're challenging you and want to deny everything, then I don't expect my readers to sit there and feel free. And I'm like, nope, cut that reading short. Give them the ticket back and tell them, go somewhere else. Like, we're not into that stump the reader bullshit. Or the whole, they sit down and they try to tell you what the tarot cards mean. Like, they don't even want to hear the message. Like,
Like, I know there've been times, like, I've had a particularly difficult client or somebody that brings in just a lot of heaviness with them. I know there have been times I've gone up to the front desk after and been like, hey, do you got any like sage spray or something? I need a wipe off board here moment of just kind of giving yourself permission to go, okay, that energy should follow you out the store. Please leave with them. Like, because a lot of times it can get stuck on you. It can get really heavy, and then you just dwell on it, and then you can't get yourself mentally off of, oh yeah, that one reading was so hard, and they said this, and like, so I think there are methods that even if you decide like, okay, I'm going to do this reading, but in the back of your mind, you know, automatically, like, I'm going to go like take a lap with my selenite. I'm going to go ask someone to sage me real quick. I'm going to ask one of the Reiki people to like do a quick wash for me real quick. Like you always in the back of your mind, you know who that's going to be and what it is you can do to kind of get yourself back on an even kilter quickly for the rest of the clients.
Mm-hmm.
For me, what I do kind of with anything is I'll just follow the process, do my thing. And sometimes if it's someone that I feel like you said, iffy, or just really guarded or something, I'll just do it anyway. And in the back of my head, I'm like, this isn't going to go well. And a lot of times, because I just trust the process, it doesn't actually affect it. And it winds up turning out better than I thought. But one of the things, too, as readers of any kind, is we have people that energetically we don't necessarily resonate with, whether it's psychological or energetically or any of the above. But that doesn't mean we still can't serve them. I like what Hank was saying in the comments there. If you can read that, I'm not going to read it. But anyway, so there might be someone that you have like a friction with personality wise, but you can still do a reading for them, versus someone whose energy is just really not good. And then I still just try and do my process and trust that instead of anything else, which is ultimately what we're doing anyway. It's just a reaffirmation to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So Hank is on the YouTube comment says he's fine with working with wonky energy, but he also always asks spirit before the reading or healing, is it for his hands? And if he gets a no, he would rather the client go find, somebody else. And that's one thing that we learned in our training. And I know, Maria, you heard Zane say that, like, you are not the shaman for everyone. Mm-hmm. It's not your job to fix everyone. It's not up to you to fix everyone. And don't let your ego take over that you have to be the only reader or the only healer for everyone. But sometimes it's kind of like if they're truly in a state of desperation and they need some sort of help or guidance, and you're the only one in the room to give them a hand. Kind of that professional responsibility, I guess. Other than saying like, no, I'm sorry, this isn't going to be good. And that can be. Oh my God, it's so noisy, Jade.
There's two things that could happen. Yeah, that's Jade. Stop it. There's two things that could happen. Number one, having that person come to you, it could be a message from spirit that you need to hear as a reader. Maybe the challenge is that there's something in it for the person who's doing the reading. The second is, I'm going to wait a minute. All right.
Are you back?
Who's hiccuping?
You're frozen. Frozen in time. Maria, have you had a client that you were kind of like, no? Oh, hang on. Let me unmute you. There you go.
Okay. Yes, I have some difficult clients, and I feel that they come to me for a reason, and I will do my best to help them. Now, I had a few clients that try to challenge me, and I just let them go ahead, and if this is what they believe, and to let them go ahead and believe it. But also in the back of, in my head, I'm asking my spirit guide to contact their spirit guide. And even though I don't see a change when they leave me, I know a change because I trust in the process. I know a change will happen. It might be the smallest change, but it will happen. And that's all you need to do is just do a little pebble and the ripple will happen.
I have a question, just because it's something I'm not familiar with. Maria, you've mentioned like the idea of like spirit guides or talking to spirit. how do you find your spirit guide? Is that something that everybody has? You have to go invite one. You have to go find yours. How do you establish that connection?
Well, before the shaman class that I took, because in Zane's class, we had to find our allies. They call it allies, and we had to find the 7 that we had to do and connect with. So, but before then, I was already connected. Oh, there she is. I was already connected to Archangel Michael. He is one of my guides. I went through a training called the Silva, and one of the training was we created a lab in our third eye, and in this lab we have counselors, female and male counselors that we connected to. So basically we can go ahead and pinpoint or choose a goddess, god, ascended master, whatever, as your guide, or you can have spirit bring up who your guide was. And the guide that came to me was Archangel Michael, so he was my very first guide. But he was always been with me since I was young. So I wasn't surprised that he was the one that came. So you can go ahead and pick, ascended master and connect with them, or you can leave it up to spirit to connect a being for for your highest good and guidance.
Nice.
So Holly has like a follow-up about working with people with a iffy energy. She was wondering, like, how do you protect yourself while doing that work, while doing the reading or the healing with that person who maybe doesn't feel great and peachy getting ready to sit down with you? Maria, go.
Oh, me. Okay. I've always worked with the electric violet flame. So I constantly surround myself with that. So I'm completely open, but I also am aware that the electric violet is around me. That's how I do it.
So Lucinda, what do you do?
Well, if I'm getting a icky, little bit off vibe, I immediately ask for more protection from my guides, from my angels. And then when we're at like the reading table or whatever, I have crystals or that there for protection and that type of stuff, and amplify it with the clear quartz and everything like that, just for more protection and everything, and just guidance and protection. And if I'm really drained afterwards, I ask for a small break to recenter, do a mini cleanse of my thoughts and everything, recharge before taking on the next person, so that they get my 100%.
Well, now, Joan, I know you use crystals on your table. Do you do anything else besides crystals?
Oh, you mean like crystals in my pockets too? Because sometimes they're there.
Pockets, bras,
Well,
shoes.
Oh, well, okay, so I don't go that far. Some people do. Yeah, necklaces.
One behind you.
Yeah, so sometimes it's a matter of if I feel like I need to in the morning before I leave on a reading day, I use Florida water and rose water, and I'll spray that, kind of do, instead of perfume or any type of fragrance, I'm over here going, making the whole cloud and walking through it, and giving myself that light shower, so to speak. It's also, just the deep breaths, meditative thoughts, sitting at the table, shuffling my cards. Usually it's 2 or 3 times, and I focus on that shuffle, and that's good enough for me for a good cleanse. And sometimes it's just a matter of taking a walk or ringing some bells, as I've been known to do.
You're my bell ringer. Bells. Now, you are noisy, sir. When you're doing your drawings, do you actually do anything to protect yourself, create the space before you kind of get into your drawing mode?
Nope.
No.
Nice.
Without getting too into it, because it can sound really pretentious. I've never felt a need to. And I'm not saying that other people shouldn't. When I say not a need for me to. That's been through experiences, through connections with things. That's like a me thing. It's not like I'm not recommending people to go completely energetically naked. It just doesn't. It's never felt like an important thing for me, and it. I kind of operate assuming that what I need to do, I'm going to do kind of as a purpose, and that's not going to get affected. It's kind of in a little bit of what someone else was saying before. I can't remember who was talking about it. But the idea that it's with a sense of purpose, that it's gonna work out. They're coming to me for this, because they needed to, and I don't know. It seems to work that way for me. Not a great answer.
Drop a pin. Honestly, I have
here on After Hours.
I
read naked.
It's funny because as I'm sitting here thinking about it, when I've done a lot of the healing work, like I don't necessarily, at least not consciously, like do this. Oh, I've got to do this. I got to say this. I got to white light. I just go in there, and while I'm doing the work, if there's anything that needs to be cleansed, drained, release, like I just do it. Maybe I should pay more attention to it, but I don't find that it's been so much of an issue. Though at the same time, like there's been times in the store where Megan's like, "Oh my God, it feels so heavy in here," and I'm like, "Really? Oh, light some sage."
Right, me too.
So, and I'm like, "Maria, really? Is it really?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay." Because I guess I'm like a tank. I'm so well guarded that I just move through things and it doesn't register for me, and I take care of business.
Washing hands is another quick way to get rid of some.
What is it?
Klingons. Washing your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Using water.
I'm sure it's probably some form of like Reiki or energy work, but there have actually been a couple of times that I've literally kind of gone, ugh, like brushed it off of me a little bit, like nope, gross, get it off me. I need to be done with that. That act of telling yourself, I'm putting a distance here. Sometimes it's enough for your body and yourself to go, right, we're good. We're distanced. We're not with them anymore.
Well, yeah, and all of that is really just an action behind an intent, and that's ultimately covers kind of everything.
Mm-hmm. So Gina says she used to hear spirit, but she closed herself off, and she was wondering if anybody had any suggestions about how she can help open herself back up to it again.
Joan.
So a lot of it is just asking spirit to be gentle with you. I'm still, and Melissa, still going through this journey of mediumship and opening myself up even more. And it was just recently, I don't think I told you this, I had a dream about my grandmother, my paternal grandmother this week, and I had, thinking about her, talking about her is one thing, but to see her in a dream was really odd for me because it's been years. And when I saw her, I thought, oh, I woke up and I just laid in bed looking around like, okay, I know I made contact there because she specifically was talking to me. And so asking in your dreams before you go to bed, if there's somebody specific that you want to talk to, like that was a surprise visit for me, but I know she's passed over because I could see her in my dreams. Also, just talking to your spirit guide, maybe doing, if you're not into meditations, doing a walk, doing more work, doing more research, it'll start to open yourself up to it. And even if it is your third eye that you're trying to open, again, working with the cards, intent, it will just all of a sudden start to click. Uh-oh, she's thinking.
Well, no, I was going to say like, doing that, but it's also, as many people have learned in the development circle, it's the regular, constant practice You know, you can't try once in a while and be like, oh my God, it doesn't work. Like it's kind of like a spiritual muscle. And if you're not working it and learning and, you know, figuring out what your strengths are,
Like astrology.
Oh my gosh.
shut your face. I'm going to mute you. Shut your
Well,
face.
like typing.
I'm going to boot
So,
you
like-
from the live.
Even using your computer. So you don't just plug in your computer and you're a pro at it or typing. Like Melissa said, you have to keep typing to practice to get faster. Same thing with the cards. Development Circle, Divination Meetup, December 8th, 7:30 at the store, FYI, or if you want to do it online.
Who leads that, Joan?
$5.
Oh, she says thank you. I mean, we have people that come to the circle who kind of either read professionally or semi-professionally, and it's just a practice to keep them, you know, in the mode of keeping that ready to go. No, like Lori says, learning musical instruments, practicing. Like right now, I would cringe if Reen picked up the saxophone that he hasn't touched in like 4 years. Put that shit down.
It's like riding a bike.
But I think some people come to the development circle and stuff too, because as they get more practice and more knowledgeable of their strongest gift, ability, whatever terminology they choose to use for what they're able to do and everything, they realize that, hey, they also can do this and they want to learn more and fine tune that and everything. And that's why we have some people that will go to like development circle and divination and all that, because they are realizing and wanting to know more and understand more and everything with their other abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to branch out in a comfortable space. So not only repetition, but an area of comfort where everyone's like, feels comfortable enough with everyone else to kind of stretch out of the norm, because ultimately what you're doing is you're performing a service, and that's stepping out of your identity, which for a lot of people, if you've never done that before, it's pretty weird and uncomfortable initially.
Yeah, everybody's in the same boat at Development Circle or Divination Meetup. Like everybody's trying to get better, and everybody's where you are. They want to learn more, and they're willing to practice on themselves and you, and be open to let you practice on them. Nobody's going to judge you, and it's only $5 for either one. Like Kathy says, practice trusting your gut. And I know, like Hank has mentioned, one of the tactics that they've used at Fellowships of the Spirit out in Lilydale, like they do this fun thing, and I've thought about doing it in the store, but COVID, where instead of sitting down and practice reading, it's almost like a ball. Like in my mind, I picture an old like Renaissance ball where everybody's switching partners and you're moving in the room. And at a certain point, everything stops. And the person that you're looking at, you say, I don't know why I'm saying this, but, and whatever comes to mind, and the but negates it, because really you do know why you're saying it. You're just doubting yourself. And I'm like, that would be a fun thing to do.
I mean, honestly, would you go up to somebody and just say, excuse me, I see, I'm seeing a blue pickup truck. And why don't you go get your wheels checked? You don't walk up to a stranger to say something like that. But in this room, in that moment, you have other people that are open to hearing what you might be picking up on. It may not make any sense to you at all, but it makes sense to the person that might be standing in front of you or someone else in that room, in that gallery.
Right. Well, and that's where a lot of the TV shows are very misleading. You see Teresa Caputo and other people just going up to strangers and being like, verbally vomiting. And I'm like, okay, first of all, there's editing. Those people know that she's getting ready to do that. In real life, you don't do that, because that person may not be ready to hear that message. Don't blindside them in public with a message from a dead father that maybe they didn't get along with. Like, don't do that.
And where they might have been receptive, doing that can put their guard up, and then the work is pointless. The message is pointless.
Yeah. There's some ground rules and like professional, and granted, none of us wrote the rules here, but there's kind of like these understood things of what you should and shouldn't do in doing readings public-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa says Teresa Caputo irritates her. Years ago, when she was still married, because I think she's gotten a divorce, Teresa, her husband, there was this commercial where the last line she said before the commercial would end, she's like, there's the only thing more important than my hair and my nails is messages from spirit. And Rune, who had been sitting on another couch, like turned over and he goes, that is so stupid. Why would anybody watch a show where she talks about her hair and her nails? Out of the mouth of young people. So what exactly do we do development circles? Is it organized, organic, reading, energy work? I'm curious. So
All of that.
all of the above. It's kind of different each time. Though right now, because it's over Zoom because of COVID, and usually when it's not COVID, a small development circle is like 17. We've had like 37 in there before.
Oh, dang.
And it's different usually each time. We've done things like everybody will write a sentence down. You'll fold it up a couple times, throw it in a basket. Everybody picks a piece of paper out and you trace the handwriting. And you pick up what you can from tracing that handwriting. We've done the whole, from the pictures, practicing mediumship, practicing psychometry, so everybody can kind of get an idea of the different types, get an idea of maybe what your strengths are. So it's fun. Jim does a pretty good job keeping it different and not monotonous. The few times that he's been unable to do it and I had to fill in last minute, I would make everybody do what I call boot camp, and that would sometimes scare a few people. So I would break everybody up into equal lines, and one side would get up and move, and every 3 minutes the timer would go off and you'd have to move down to the next person, and you would just have to start reading them with whatever came out of your mind, out of your mouth. Timer would go off, you move another seat. And so it's kind of like the idea of the Renaissance thing, but a little more, here's your person, here's your next person, here's your next person. And it would force people to have to try. Because in the beginning, we had a lot of people that would come in and sit around and try to get free reading after free reading after free reading after free reading and never try. And I'm like, mm-mm.
That's why I don't go anymore.
Right.
Because I wanted free readings.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, you're going to earn your keep.
Yeah, she's making me. I'm kidding.
Somebody asked me just the other day when I was telling them about Development Circle and that they have a child that they really say is really gifted and is asking a bunch of questions and all that. I asked them if the child was with them. They didn't bring him to the store, but they wanted to know if a child would be allowed to come to Development Circle and stuff. And I said, yes, but I know that when I was going on a more regular basis and everything, the one time there was a young man there, but that I believe that we would require the parent to be there and everything, that they couldn't just bring the child, drop them off and come back when they figured. And they said, okay, that would be good. And then their only other thing, well, if I had to be there with them, would we have to pay 10 instead of 5? I go, that I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that, but it's $5 to participate and everything. So
I mean, it's an hour and a half workshop. It's $5. Quit.
Yeah,
Really good.
well,
Guys, I love you all out there, but quit bitching about $5, please.
oh yeah. Well, I just,
$5.
I wanted to let them know that, because children are quite connected, and I didn't want them to think that they couldn't bring the child, but I did also want them to know that a parent would need to be there and everything. I just didn't want to be the one for them then to come and say, well, Lucinda said that it was, we both had to pay, I didn't have to pay. So I just said, no, check out there.
But it's a good program to get connected with your child too, so that you can learn what they're learning and maybe be that explainer, of certain things, because there might be beliefs that parent has that still wants to have the child involved in. We all still have some base religion that we had growing up. Not saying that we follow it now, or maybe we just acknowledge it, but at least that parent really should be involved in it too. It should be like a tag team thing.
I mean, we've had young people sit in before. Rune, my own son, has been in it, and he liked it for a while. Then he got involved in Taekwondo. we don't expect you to attend a certain amount. You come and go as you need because of work schedules, family, you know. Every now and then, if you are a regular and we don't see you for a while, we'll get kind of like, "Are you okay? Great, cool," you know, because you're like a college friend, you know, like you're alive and well, awesome. You know, but you just come and go as you need. We ask that you get there, you know, at least 5 minutes early, because at 7 o'clock the doors get locked, and a lot of times there's some sort of meditation to start. Don't bang on the door when everybody's meditating. It's kind of rude. Just don't do it. You know, and then the different type of activities begin. And Jim, who his main regular, his Clark Kent 9 to 5 non-psychic job is, he works and trains teachers of young people. So he's very familiar with young people and, you know, any needs that they may have. And he will automatically gear activities for young people. And he'll help keep an eye on, like, oh, they look a little uncomfortable. We're going to change this. We're going to do this. Or so Jim's great with the development circle. Joan, we haven't had any young people yet for divination, right? Not really? I can't think of one.
Under the age of 18, no. But I know we've had younger, I'll say Gen Z people. But we've had a few people come in, and it's great. I like the different perspectives. You know, everybody brings their own perspective, depending on the cards that they're using or the tools that they're using. We're not just for divination meetup. We're not limited to cards, but with any tool, I tell everyone that anyone can read whatever we have. We went so far as creating our own deck, so.
Mm-hmm. And you've had JD, right, come out and like, this is how you do drawings with it.
That's correct. Oh, and FYI, this coming December 8th, we are going to be doing a 2021 reading for ourselves, and we help each other to do our reading. So, you know, we get interpretations from everybody in the group for each reading.
Oh, ladies.
2020 has been kind of a lovely little crapshoot. Are you really sure we want to dabble into 2021, or is that more like the less I know, the better?
No, actually, I do want to do that. We get to do a whole.
Ours pretty low.
We get to do that yearly spread, but here's the kicker. I was just talking with someone today, Kathy, about when we did our readings last year, and thinking back over the year, thinking about that annual reading. Every one of our readings were all about introspection, and well, technically, we were all right. We're doing a lot of introspections because we can't get away from it.
Had time to do nothing but.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and here's a fun little topic. I keep hearing, like, I can't wait for 2021. It's like this underlying thought that come January 1st, everything's going to suddenly be better. And I'm just kind of like, nah, the virus doesn't stop at midnight on the 30th.
What? Oh, man.
You just burst my bubble.
I mean, it's kind of like what I've heard Dawn say it a couple times, and I really do enjoy it. And I've kind of adapted a way of it a little bit in when I read for people. It's that idea of like, if you don't like the way you're going, change directions. Like a lot of times, like there is that kind of mentality of like, oh, I need a fresh start. Okay, go. Like what mile marker, what milestone do you desperately need? You know, quite frankly, December 31st into January 1st, that's another day. That's just another 24-hour period. Do I have to be at work? Should I pay the bill? Should I do, like, having that mentality of waiting for these big universal signs before I will and will not do something. It's like, you've got a lot more power and autonomy in your own journey and path than a lot of people give themselves credit for, I feel.
Mm-hmm. You can say the approval.
Wow. There you go. That's your sign.
There's your sign. Oh my God.
Do it now.
I felt it.
Do it.
So, Sandy, what to bring to divination meetup? Any cards, any tools, any pendulums, anything that you use for any sort of answer seeking for yourself. And Joan, you usually have a few extra decks if somebody truly has nothing.
Yep.
And I have the store, like we have sample decks that, people,
You
can
can
use.
use mine.
What? Are you getting a reprint?
They're sitting on the table.
Gather up the mess on the table and be like, here's JD's deck.
Yeah, they're right
A lot
by
of people
the
play with
herb
these.
cabinets.
Huh?
JD's are right by the herb cabinets on that table.
'Cause I have what, the last deck available for sale made by JD, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
That's it. Hot commodity there. What if 2021 tells 2020 to hold their beer? If Harry minds want to know, Kathy wants to know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That helmet that we were all telling you to go get, put it on. Just put it on.
The helmets.
Right. Start loading up on wine now for 2021.
And tinfoil. People need hats.
Sometimes that's the motivation for us to get up off our ass and get our things done.
Has anybody thought about sacrificing the virgin yet?
Do you know one?
I was like, can we find one?
JD volunteers.
I'm drawing like
Liar, hats on fire.
Born again or something.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, with 2020, I mean, it's been kind of a shit show. But I mean, and honestly, if I look back, like, it's taught me a new way of doing business that's worked well. It's given me time to look at things. So I'm trying to stay somewhat positive about the plate 2020's handed me.
Well, and I think in like a metaphysical sense, like it has forced a lot of people to put a lot more manpower into staying dedicated to a group of people or their practice or things like that. Because like it kind of runs in the vein of like, if you want to be connected to nature but you live in an apartment, okay, what do? You know, my coven, for example, we thrive on being together. We thrive on being in the same circles together and in the same room to help each other. And there's nothing more fulfilling than being together like that. Well, with all the COVID spiking, we're back to virtual. So we've kind of had to switch up our methods of, okay, we still want to feel connected. We still want to feel like we're all doing something together, but in a virtual sense, and we don't really like the idea of holding a virtual circle. So Colleen, actually, Joan, it was so funny that we talked about that last time I was over. We're going to make our own tarot deck. All the Coven sisters are going to get together. We're all going to get the blank cards. We're all going to draw cards out of the deck. And then we each draw that tarot card. So we will have a group deck of cards because it's keeping that connection and keeping that kind of like good bond with your metaphysical friends while still adhering to the environment that's going on outside.
It's effective. And FYI, let's go back to the astrology for a hot minute.
Oh.
Well, listen, do your homework. You will find that 2020 was riddled with planets in Capricorn. And Capricorn is the sign of the boss, getting it done, got to follow the rules. And I'm rolling my eyes because...
Shouldn't that be my sign then?
Capricorn? No.
It should be being the boss.
Capricorn is all about following the rules and having to stick to the rules. And this year was all about, and it's the boring, it's not even the exciting stuff. That's where Aries comes into play because it's following your lead and lighting the fire. It's that, think of like the Ace of Wands when it comes to Aries. Getting that fire under your ass and then getting going. Capricorn is, you gotta get it done. Let's go and do it. And then when you don't want to do it, you still gotta do it. And that's what. So go ahead, go back and look.
So is Capricorn yours? Might as well do it.
No, that's Pisces.
Pisces.
But it was. No.
Joan says.
Whatever. This year was all about having to follow the rules and getting it done, getting your stuff done. And the faster you put your head down and get it done, the better. But in any case, development circle, I like that idea with the divination meetup, with what she said, Alex said about creating the cards. But again, we've done it where each person can draw one card, and out of 5 people drawing cards, there's your reading from 5 different decks. So, we find different ways to do readings. I know I'm going all the way around. But,
Really connecting it full circle here, Joan.
I am. I'll tie it all together with my yarn. But no, it works. And we find a way to make everyone comfortable with whatever tool you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, welcome, Gina. Thank you, Lori, for helping Gina. Yeah, it's 2021. Hopefully it's better. Wow, it's already after 9 o'clock, you guys. Like, we rambled already over an hour.
You never do that.
What?
You never do that.
Carry on for hours on end?
Hours talking about everything and nothing.
Mm-hmm. The ramblings that we do in the back of the
I
store.
roll behind the glasses because the glare's a little bit.
One of these days I'll actually have to get around to putting the cameras in, and when Greg is walking around doing the twerking dance with his cane, we can like bring that up on one of these and be like, this is what really happens in the after hours.
Oh, we could do little intermissions with like video clips.
Right. Yes.
This is a commercial break.
Bloopers from Goddess Elite.
There's a lot of those.
I was trying to talk Jim into doing interpretive dance one night for the like, we will gather readings through interpretive dance, and he's like, that's going to scare everyone away.
Oh, well, I'm here for that. I am here for that kind of weirdness. Sign me up.
We need to wear matching costumes and do like a synchronized thing.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
And we could play it in like time lapse, fast forward.
See, now I have the mental image of that dance from What We Do in the Shadows when they go to the council and they're all scurrying across the stage. And
Yes.
Oh,
One of
the characters are like, yeah.
Yeah, I started thinking about Deacon going like this.
Right. Yes. But well, I guess if we have let's walk by.
Maybe we could get Maria to do a hula. And
No. No.
Interpretive dance.
Maria doesn't have to
get
do it.
Grandma to do a hula.
Yes.
Grandma.
No.
I don't even think there's enough tequila or whiskey in the world to get Grandma to do a hula dance. Like,
she used to escape the hula dances, and my great grandmother was a teacher, her own mother, and she used to sneak out.
Yeah,
and go
would tell
surfing,
me
right?
about that.
Go
That's why,
surfing.
like, yeah.
That's
So
what
that's
she
why
did.
it would be sort of funny, interesting to see Grandma, who would try to always get out of it, what she would come up with, what her interpretation of doing a hula. Yeah.
Well,
No,
I'm still waiting for her to respond to my feeling neglected and abandoned by here today. So
Let's get JD to do a hula.
No, I got you one better. I teach belly dancing. We're gonna have JD belly dance. I got you.
Belly dance? Okay, belly dance.
I actually had a belly dance in the store class before. Belly dance class in the store before COVID. I speak English.
I might be able to do the truffle shuffle, but I don't know about that.
Truffle shuffle?
Divination through interpretive line dances. What does the Cupid shuffle tell you?
Ooh, how about college?
Like long wedding?
The lawnmower, the sprinkler.
I'm just thinking of the tower card, so there you go.
I think if Jim won't do it, we should create it as a side workshop. I think we might be in. We'll see how many people say that they'll come to this. I think Lori said she's in. Maybe Laura. So at least 2 possible students to come to the interpretive dance. How much wine do we need to provide for everybody to show up?
Bottle each.
Divination dance. It's all interpreted.
Well, Trader Joe's has some really good cheap wine. So for $5 a bottle, $4 a bottle.
Not bad.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Oh God.
Pole
Bless
dancing.
America.
Laura taking it one step higher.
Well, would that be where someone dances and you interpret it?
No, usually it's like if you want a message, the reader does it in dance.
Oh, right, but you have to
Answer.
do it, and then you read their dance.
Okay, what if we go off of that and you're gonna read their dance, but you put a giant piece of paper down and they put paint on their feet, and you get to read their footsteps on the paper.
Spirit
Oh,
art.
hell yes.
What's up?
Spirit art. So then we would also need the giant piano on the floor from the big movie. You know,
Yeah.
that's got to come in.
No, all right. We got one person with the paint. We got one person on the pole. And we got one person on the keyboard.
Got a regular band.
Hey, we didn't say what kind of dancing you had to do.
Pole dancing. JD with pole dancing. Yes, I can see that.
It's a lot of core strength.
What was that?
It's a lot of core strength it takes to pole dance. Not that I would know.
So Lori's in. She doesn't need wine, and she's in for the piano. So we got Lori. And Holly, we got. So we're up to like 3. 2 more. We got a class.
We're like a QVC show.
So Running Man. Sandy, can you do the Running Man? We might have to record that. Can do the lawnmower, maybe, if I remember how the lawnmower goes.
Oh, come on. It would be a hell of a promo video. Just make people go, huh?
Right? Like, why would I come to that?
Like, I don't understand it either, but I got to go check it out now.
Oh, right.
No.
Like, I have to go watch this horrible.
So next psychic fair in January, just at some random time, ring a bell, and then we all get up and we do a 5-minute line dance, and then we all sit back down.
What do they call that? The sporadic dancing in
Flash mob.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we have to do it in February because as of right now, I should be in Tucson during that fair. So we have to do it in February.
Well, guess what? We're going to do what we want.
I'm going to lock it up.
You're going to see it posted on the store page.
Right. We'll post it everywhere. Oh, Laura says she'll.
It'll go viral. You'll be watching it out there.
Of all the things to get known for, it's for the interpretive dance class.
It's an in.
Wait, Melissa, are you going to the Gemstone Fair in January?
Yeah, I'm supposed to vend there. So it's tricky right now. They say they're still having it.
Okay.
We'll see. Travel is getting tricky. At first I was thinking we would drive, and it's a 29-hour drive from the parking lot of the store to the parking lot of the place that the vending is supposed to happen. So then I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just put everything on a pallet, ship it down, get on a plane, fly for 5 hours. Way more comfortable. Well, now all of the flights between Cleveland and Phoenix are no longer one-way nonstop. They are looking like 23 hours because of all these layovers now, because planes are empty pretty much flying. And I'm like, well, at that point, I might as well drive.
Right.
But what are the odds there's going to be a state that says nobody's allowed to come in?
Oh, right. COVID connections.
Right.
So
The reason I got excited about that is if you're taking orders, I of course would love more little
Bag of
gems.
dicks. She wants a bag of dicks.
oh, yes. Like I've already got, that vendor on notice. Like, should I show up? I need bags of mini dicks.
Some of the people that I've told about them, they want me to see if you're going to get some, I call them teeny weenies.
I love that.
And so I said, well, she'll hopefully come back with some teeny weenies, some, medium excited ones, and then maybe the Whoppers. And I go, I don't know what she'll come back with.
There's already like a couple medium. There's a couple big ones. Like I was hoping to take them down there and finally get rid of them because everybody loves to look and go, hee hee. Nobody wants to buy them.
All right, well, so
you're
let's talk
saying
about this. What? Go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear this say, JD.
What?
You moved your microphone. What'd you say?
You said they're mostly small ones, but there's some big ones.
Yeah, size matters, JD. There's some that are like, and then Well, have you ever seen the chocolate mold? Because I've got molds of it. So I've got like the teeny weeny chocolates that, bite size. You can have more than one. You can't just do. And then she's had ones that are more like maybe 3-4 inches. And then I don't think I've ever seen one that's like life size, but I can make a chocolate life size. And then
Oh,
she's got
Laura.
this huge one that is like,
Same
oh
grace.
my.
This is called After Hours for a reason.
I was just going to ask Alexa to talk about her reading because
Yeah.
because yes, you were sitting here talking about the teeny weenies. Why don't you talk, because you offer something unique right now and pretty much self-created, at least from spirit driven. Talk about it, because you and I have had several conversations over it. I think what you have to offer, it's a great service.
Oh, thank you. So I've known from a very young age that I'm very comfortable talking about topics that are a little bit more health class taboo that people blush and freak out over. To me, that's another part of the body that we don't address. We don't attenuate to. So what I do with my readings is I take that principal idea of a balance between the masculine and the feminine energies in one body. I have a Venus mat. I invite my client to pick up a little handful of gemstone dicks and get their little energy all on it and throw that on the mat. Then I take my own little eclectic little divination pieces. I've got some shells. I've got like a skeleton key in there. I think I've got a couple pieces of driftwood, like a couple little odds and ends I've collected over the years. I throw that down on top of it. And then just kind of intuiting where certain things land, where certain pieces have landed on that mat, for example. Like one, and some people, it's got such a good spectrum of, there are some people that we get nitty gritty with it about some of the things that they want to talk about and some of the things that they need to kind of take control and power back over, that looking at it in that sense and looking at the mat and then having me flip cards over next to it to kind of back up, here's what this is saying and here's how we work through this. Here's what this process may or may not look like. There are some women that it's very empowering. There are some, but it's just fun. It's hilarious for some of these women to be blatantly honest and open with me. And I have not had a client yet when I ask them, hey, can I say something kind of like, can I be blunt? They're like, oh my God, yes, be blunt. Tell me anything, everything. Like, they get excited about the idea that, one, they got to throw little dicks around, and two, it's a topic that we talk about, and for some reason, I've always found like it's a topic that, regardless of what sphere you're in, health, relationships, metaphysical, you address some of it, but not all of it. Like, I know in the store, for example, I've seen like the fertility and the love statues and some of the candle kits and things like that, but there's no real deep dive into how do we pair your intuition as a person, your masculine and your feminine, and then whatever's on this map that we can intuit out of. How do we combine all of that into a message that person can take home with them? So it's been great. I love it. I honestly, I was kind of skeptic the first time. Melissa's like, aren't these the cutest little things? Could you how do you feel about these? Do you like these? I'm like, yes.
Can you do readings with these?
I can. Please give me more. But it's been good. It's been a fun variation of kind of that old school throwing bones or throwing pieces, with a little bit more of kind of that modern twist with some of the cards, and then obviously like the Venus mat and the little gemstones. So it's been really good.
I think we need to record like a reading, like even if you're just doing my reading, like this is what to expect. This is the type of information comes out. This is
because a lot of it can be like pretty crazy and personal. Like I've had a client at one point in time, one of my bigger chunks of like driftwood landed right in the middle of her pelvic bowl. I'm like, hey, there's kind of like a blockage here. What's going on? And she's like, yeah. She goes, there is. I'm like, what hasn't been released in a hot second? She goes, I got dumped, and I haven't really, gotten over that little peak yet since he left. I'm like, oh shit. So there's things like that will come out in the readings. That honestly, it gives you an opportunity to let kind of the intuition and let that spirit kind of move through you in that way. and it re-empowers. I've never done one for a guy. I would love to do a reading for a guy.
Oh, I was going to ask you how,
JD.
if you had a guy, how they felt about, touching, so, like that.
I would love to have a brave guy sit down and do this reading with me. I've had women so far, and it's been awesome.
Maybe you need to find some vagina type ones.
To throw little yoni eggs.
They have been pretty hard to find. I found like the outlines, and there was only a handful of ones about this big. But penis is everywhere.
But I think, KD, let's talk about this. Oh, yeah, boobs. There you go.
The boob shape.
But I think you've got the combination of the masculine and feminine right there in the reading. I think that could be you can address it to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all have a yin and a yang that we have to have balanced. So,
and I think that was a fun topic that one of my last clients we talked about today was like the idea of people kind of seeing that balance, that yin and that yang, that masculine, feminine, almost as like in competition within your body. Like I had a couple people say, "Oh, well, I'm too masculine. I need to get away from that." Like, why are you running from that? That's part of you. So rather than running from a part of yourself, switching that focus to nourishing a different part of yourself. Accept that they're there. They're not going anywhere. But making kind of that inner peace with what goes on in all of us, I was surprised to see how many people struggled with that synthesis and struggled with the idea of, I am both at the same time, all the time. And gracefully navigating that kind of flow.
That might be a topic you and I can do on like the podcasting.
Hey, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to people after she's doing the explanation of here's what I offer, and they go, she gets to that bag right there, and they're like, yeah, can we do tarot instead?
They get a little spooked.
I'm not interested.
Yeah, that's when people go, well, what are the relationship readings? And I'm like, obviously saying you reach in and you grab a handful of dicks and you throw them on the table, not the best selling description.
Right.
So, but I'm like, that's literally kind of what you're doing.
Or it is for the right person.
Right. You're right. It is for the right person.
So I'm like, maybe having it recorded, like let people watch and see what kind of information comes out, what's going on. And some people may not want to do that at a fair too. That could be a more of a private, behind closed doors type of reading. And that's fine because we usually have Alexa in outside of just the psychic fairs. So, which I'll have to be messaging you later and be like, okay, what days are you free, ma'am?
And my husband would probably be willing. He likes to experience different things, try something.
I want to listen to this one.
and he would help, like he helps me when I'm making as my grandson goes, Grandma, you shouldn't. And that totally embarrasses him whenever I'm making the penis chocolates and stuff like that. Grandmas shouldn't do that. But my husband has no problem coming in there, packaging it and, helping dump them out of the molds or whatever. So I don't think he would have a problem you having a male person experience. And then if that was one that, then too, if you wanted to like record it or whatever to say, yeah, it's for, even guys.
Absolutely, it's for everyone.
Any reading, it's empowering. All the readings, no matter who it's from, whether it's Maria or Lucinda, Alex, JD, you too, and Melissa, you've had this experience too. People come in front of you and you just happen to you say the right thing at the right moment. The floodgates open, the emotions start pouring out. And it doesn't matter what type of reading it is. When you connect, you're on point. You've got spirit right there in front of you. So whether it is a small bag of teeny weenies or whether it's, the angels, it could be anything. It's just, the message is going to be for you when you're connected.
Yeah, so that'll be something we'll work on. So keep an eye on YouTube. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, because we'll do a live video with those, and then we'll do one with the fan talk pack as well. Because I think those alternate forms of divination, those alternate forms of spirit work are really amazing because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of different methodologies that I think a lot of people aren't aware of that, like, I imagine, especially in like your development circle and things like that, there's probably avenues that someone's like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. I want to do that. That's a thing that I can do because it's something that they naturally will feel inclined towards.
Mm-hmm. That's why I think people are so used to just cards that when you show them other ways of doing it and how to use, like, and I think like even like with pendulums, people are like, yes, no, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, you can use pendulums for, you know, lay out a couple sets of, you know, food. Which one is more healthy for you to eat today? Which one, you know, you're looking at houses. What kind of house do you buy? Which is the better property for you using the pendulum? But then that kind of gets into like tricking yourself and not letting that subconscious muscle movement make it swing the way you want it to swing. So that's a whole other fun conversation that I have with some customers who have the time to listen to it. All right, what time are we at now? 9:30.
You got a hot date or something?
Bed. I'm tired.
Yeah, didn't she tell you she's got an astrologer coming over? They're going to do her natal.
More like with the chiropractor at 11:30 in the morning.
She's got
You know.
Ask chart.
Ask him if he can read your vertebrae.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Well, apparently he did have interest because he asked for the website like on the second or third time, and then when I went back, he's like, oh, I love those bracelets. I've got to get a couple of those bracelets for my girlfriend. And I'm like, well, which ones? And he's like, you know, the fuckity fuck one. Like, yes, you must get one of those. Absolutely. Like of all the probably most not, I don't say non-spiritual, because you know you clear your throat chakra every time you yell, you know, fuck really loud.
Or any curse words for that matter.
Right. But apparently he has some interest in it. And I think one of the massage therapists, like she's a Reiki master too. So possibly. I'll have to ask him, like, so what is the technical term for reading the spine?
Yes.
And how fucked up can you tell me I am? My spine. Never mind the x-ray where I've lost the curve in my neck and everything's combined.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, we're not worried about that. We already know that's messed up. All right, so what we're going to do this in January. We'll take December off unless we're really bored because we do not do fairs in December. So the next Elite After Hours, unless we just miss it that much and want to do an extra one, will be after the fair in January. So if we don't see everybody before then, have safe holidays, enjoy yourself, stay safe. You know, anybody else have any parting wisdom for the nights?
Get 8 hours of sleep, drink lots of water.
Vitamin D.
You're basically a houseplant with emotions.
We are.
Stay positive. Just stay positive.
Yeah, if you need someone to talk to, reach out to any of us on the page. You know, we're all available. We can reach you via Facebook. What are our other means? Instagram, email. You know, we're all available. Yeah, telephone. What, a telephone?
Yes.
I would gladly give Maria's out. Here's Maria. Call Maria. Call Maria. Call Maria.
JD, what are you doing?
JD.
You're making me seasick.
He's
cut off.
JD. See, out of all my readers, and I often joke that my readers are like my kids, there's JD. JD, Greg, and Don are my problem children. They're the ones that yell at the most.
Totally agree.
All right, everybody. I think we're going to wrap up and relax for the night. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in December after the fair.
No, January.
No fair.
January.
Remember?
I need my nap. I need my houseplant nap. January. That last. What's the last Sunday in January? It's like Should have
Last
been
Sunday in January is the 31st.
Hey, there we go.
Hey.
Last day and last Sunday, 31st of January. So join us at 8 o'clock in January. YouTube is probably the best. Facebook tends to have a lag. So join us on YouTube, subscribe. You'll get notified every time. Don't forget, James. We're trying to get Jim to come back to some of the fairs, but he's very cautious with COVID.
Yeah.
But you can catch me, Jim, Brittany, and Hank on our spirits and sobriety discussions. You can go back and watch the last 2 episodes on YouTube where they are all recovering, and we discuss how and why they fell into addiction. Like Brittany's was trying to feel better, not realizing just how open she is empathically and why she always felt bad. So she was turning to drug use to try and feel better. Hank drank to not hear the voices. So we talk about that and, the kind of help people can get and just offshoots of that. So we have to schedule our next one, working it through the holiday. But Jim is a part of that. And there may be other topics. Alexa and I were kind of scheming on some of those. So on top of doing the store full time.
Right. not taking too much on your plate at all.
I used to hear all the time, plenty of time to sleep when you're dead. So testing that theory. All right. So everybody have a good night. Stay safe. Enjoy your holidays. Be kind to one another. And enjoy. Stay warm. I think we have snow supposed to be coming, right?
Yeah.
Winter, boo.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
It's Ohio. It's December. Happens every year. And yet we're always
Listen,
Hate it. Hate it.
The Browns have a winning streak, so hell's freezing over.
It's like, Don, what did he say? He goes, I was wondering why my hometown was feeling cold. Hell's freezing over. Like, you keep that shit at home. Quit bringing it here. All right.
All right, guys.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.